Recording in progress.
Let's you pull out some that stuff. No one got very small. All right. Let me also stop. Let's see if it's more. Yep. We're short a couple people, but Sarah is over there. So, right. Let me pray for us so we can get started. So, Father, just thank you so much for the students. Thank you for this class. Give us wisdom to navigate this life, and yeah, just in everything we do and we're doing. So, thank you for just how much you love us and care for us. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so today I'm gonna do a quick reflection. I'm dressed up today, so you might think this is Halloween, but it's not. It's trial day. So I don't like Halloween that much. But to tell you the truth, I don't know. It's really hard to understand. But I used to be kind of annoyed by it, but then I was like, now it's like my neighbors have kind of gone full bore into Halloween. And there just happens to be a correlation between how much you're decorating for Halloween and say yes to issue one signs in the lawn. I don't know what that's about exactly, but there's a high level of correlation there. So, but yeah. Um, but so I had this long elaborate joke about this year I'm going all in on Halloween and actually have, it's in my front yard instead of like a graveyard or a big spider crawling over my roof or everything else my neighbors seem to be doing. It's gonna have like a full blown exorcism scene with the bed and then and a girl on there and then when people come up it just projectile vomits all over the people. That would be awesome. But I decided to take the high road and not use that as it. So but I do have this interesting idea, and this is actually my reflection for the day. Like sometimes I had like, should Christians really believe in things like ghosts? Aliens have been in the news all over the news for like the last 6 months. Seems like every time there's a balloon that floats overhead, everybody's like, "Oh, there's UFO," and we got aliens. So the question is, and I've heard some preachers talking like, "No, we're the only ones in the universe, and we're this like," and they say all these things. I'm like, "Huh, that's interesting." So what is it? Should we believe in ghosts? Should we believe in aliens? Let's start with the aliens one because that's actually more interesting. Ooh, should we? I mean, really? Like when you hear stories like, oh, yeah. What do you think?
Different than learning what aliens actually means. So if you read the casted out book of Enoch, they said that the giants had sex with the demons and it was a being and they cast it somewhere. So
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff and like yeah, in like if we're trying to say like okay, the Bible's the foundation of our knowledge of how we understand things about God and about the spiritual realm, then I don't know. It's like a lot of people's like, no, we're the only ones that in the whole universe. Like, does it ever say that in there? Does it ever say that like we're alone in the universe as the only sentient creatures? Not that I know of. Like kind of arguing from silence. What about ghosts? What do you guys think about ghosts? Should we believe in ghosts? Is there any local ghosts here in Circleville? Like
Sure. Yeah.
the Great Pumpkin? Is that a ghost? That rises from a 1,400 pound tumor filled pumpkin at once a year at the things up.
Yeah. You have much of stuff. I see. Now that you say that, it makes me question if we were calling it the wrong thing. We call it Elizabeth's grave. There's supposedly a witch grave.
Here? On
Yes,
campus?
sorry, no, it's a
Oh, it's
no. If you look, if you're
that word's burning stuff.
down from where the old farmers is,
Okay.
that cemetery is. Dug down a little bit further. That cemetery there's literally all the way back to like it's like a little stuff.
And it's a witch's grave, apparently. Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, well let me just kind of run through some stuff. Like every time I hear that, like, oh, we shouldn't be worried about we shouldn't be worried about it. But like in the Bible, we've got the Holy Ghost, right? We've got the Holy Ghost. We've also got the ghost of Samuel. It's like Saul goes and visits a medium in the Bible, and she raises up the ghost of Samuel, and they have a conversation. Saul and this ghost have this conversation in the Bible, and the Bible doesn't say it's like this is all fake and this smoke and mirrors. This is like a real conversation. Like, whoa, that's kind of weird, right? We've also got zombies, right? Like when Jesus dies, the bodies of many holy people were raised to life. They came out of their tombs. They went into the Holy Spirit and they appeared to many people. What it was?
And so I feel like I don't think anywhere in the Bible it's telling us that we can't believe in these things. I think that the problem is when we start to analyze this, truth magnetize it. But that's what it's about. So it's problem. Yes, God guess it's the way it knows the answer from these millions. But the moment that you metalize you're taking away. I get to put in mistakes like doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's all these prohibitions in the Bible about things like about not trying to engage in the spiritual realm outside of like our understanding of it, and but yet it's there and it seems to be very real. Like think about the magicians of Pharaoh's court; like they do actually do. They turn water to blood. They do all this other stuff. It's like actual real stuff, and the Bible doesn't say like no, they really didn't do that. It was smoke and mirrors. It's like no, they kind of did. It's kind of weird. And there's all these prohibitions like don't try to contact the spiritual realm in X and Y and Z ways. So plus there's lots of demons, and I'm sure there's lots of demonic stuff that is used by ghosts or whatever to scare people and make them even more terrified. It seems to be the primary objective is to make everybody fearful, right? So anyway, I just always hear stuff like that around this time. I'm not really a big fan of Halloween, but it is what it is. So, and then of course we also have talking snakes and a talking donkey in the Bible too. So, in addition to everything else, all right. So, with that all being said, let's get into our case today. First, a couple things I saw. So I'm going to start doing this. Babylon, I love the Babylon Bee. Adam, you wanna? I don't know if I do. I might. So I don't. So anyway, I saw these headlines from the Babylon Bee and kind of ignored those. I don't have a highlighter. Oh, no, it's not. I did. I had it here, but I left it in the office.
Just easy shot. Side.
Oh, there you go. All right. So let's you guys don't know about this case, and even the teams don't know about this case, but this case is our actual brush with a real life celebrity, a groundbreaking real life celebrity. And of course, I'm talking about this man right here. Who knows who this man is? Groundbreaking celebrity. There's this person that occupies a role that nobody in history occupied until this man occupied it.
One that keeps babies.
What's it? When he takes the babies out. No, it's not Smith Wigglesworth. No. So nobody knows who this person is? Oh yeah, he is the first. Well, he is the second gentleman. Does that make it even more?
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. Vice President.
That's right. He won that prize in the marital lottery, which is like worse than participation trophy. So yeah, see, that is Douglas Emhoff, I think is his name, and it is Kamala Harris's husband. And Douglas Emhoff, if this was the real case that we were doing, we'd be sitting in this chair right here. He actually was the lead attorney for Ranch LLC. So you guys are stepping into the shoes of greatness. I know. Okay, so this is Wrench versus Taco Bell, and it's finally time to start here. Time to for me to. This is the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. I would say all rise, but I'm not having you guys all get up. We are going to be doing this case today. And I've given you guys the basic facts of the case. I hope you had a chance to read it. If you haven't, let's take a minute so you guys can read the basic facts of the case because I don't want to go through all of them and I don't want to have them. The attorney teams go through and establish all the facts of this case. I'm gonna give you guys like 1 or 2 minutes to read it, and then we will get started. Does anybody else want a highlighter, by the way? I can get my box of highlighters. If anybody wants. You're all good? I'll give you a minute. I'm gonna go grab a water. Figure out how to get out of here. I don't even. I'm not some chances in that. Right.
What's the next? Well, shit, I was-
I have so three. I don't know. That's really fun. What is it? I didn't think because anything called. There it is. Okay, great. And let's see. Maybe this is two there. If anything. Yeah. Yeah, just send back what you did. So like you said that. Did you give the handouts down? Where did those extra copies go? Okay, so stick with it. I hope you guys get a chance to read the basic facts of the case. First thing I want to do is actually show the commercial that this case is based on. So this is it. I'll shoot it. I'll kill the lights for a second. Yeah.
No quiero Taco Bell.
What? So we're gonna start with opening statements from both sides. You can put the lights back on. Okay. So this is a case. This is a contract case. Or a contract case, and a case for with two causes of action. One being an implied contract, and the other being a potential theft copyrighted material. So that being said, I'd like to have the opening statement from the plaintiff team.
Hey, we're the firm of Acosta, Conway, and Goodyear. We are here today to represent our client Ranch LLC. Our client is the creator of the Psycho Chihuahua cartoon character and owes the rights to all users of character. Our client is the victim of breach of contract and theft of copyrighted material by the defendant Taco Bell.
Representatives from Taco Bell expressed strong interest in our client's Psycho Chihuahua cartoon at a trade show in June of 1996. This led to our client spending countless time and resources developing promotional materials and marketing pitches for Taco Bell. Our client did this only because we were under the assumption they had entered a contract with Taco Bell that their character Psycho Chihuahua would be featured in an upcoming commercial campaign. Taco Bell not only backed out of this assumed contract at the last minute, but they then proceeded to steal our client's original idea and create a commercial with a remarkably similar Chihuahua character. Our client, Wrench LLC, is suing Taco Bell for breach of contract and theft of copyrighted material.
Okay. All right. So that's your opening statement. Opening statement from the defendant team, Taco Bell.
Your Honor, the law firm of Kings, Conway, here representing our client Taco Bell. Taco Bell has been wrongfully and unjustly sued by Wrench and Strategy Licensing for the breach of implied contract and the theft of copyrighted material. Taco Bell had initially wanted to work with Wrench and Strategy for the use of their Psycho Chihuahua, but there was never a standard deal made, nor did the commercial steal any material from Wrench.
Okay. All right. Okay. So let's start then. Let's go immediately into the statement of the case. And for the statement of the case, what I would like the attorneys from Wrench to do is to go through both the elements of an implied contract and the elements of because they basically have two theories, right? The breach of implied contract and the theft of copyrighted material. So you can tell me which one you'd like to go through first, and you can go through and establish all the elements of the case. And if you're taking notes, which I assume you guys all are, you should be taking notes on this because your papers are going to be. All right, so go ahead.
All right, so in order to establish the implied contract that Taco Bell brought to our client Wrench, we're going to kind of go through a timeline of everything that took place and how long Taco Bell strung our client along. So November 11th, 1996. In June of 1996, Shields and Rings, the creators of the Psycho Chihuahua commercial, met the two Taco Bell employees at a trade show, Ed Elms and so in June of 96, they met at a trade show. Alfaro expressed strong interest in the Psycho Chihuahua character and requested that Rinks and Shields provide him with some promotional materials. Rinks and Shields then went and formed Wrench LLC, and they then got strategy marketing to represent their Psycho Chihuahua character. So in November of 96, representatives from strategy marketing traveled to California at Taco Bell's request to talk about the licensing of Psycho Chihuahua. Pollock was the other guy from Taco Bell. Pollock and Alfaro were attendees of this meeting. At this meeting, they discussed a wide range of topics, including using Psycho Chihuahua as a national mascot for Taco Bell. And they put together a formal presentation. At this meeting, they also requested a financial proposal from Strategy Licensing for the use of Psycho Chihuahua. On November 18th, they Strategy Licensing presented this proposal to Taco Bell and with additional concept material supplied by Wrench. Though Taco Bell did not immediately accept the proposal, they did indicate that if they used the Psycho Chihuahua image, they understood that financial terms would have to be agreed upon. After this meeting, Alfaro requested more materials using Psycho Chihuahua mascot on more Taco Bell products. Wrench LLC spent untold hours developing the marketing campaign for Taco Bell. Alfaro met with Wrench in February of '97, where he requested that Wrench would continue to produce various concepts, merchandise, and other items using the Psycho Chihuahua image. He specifically requested production of the materials for use at a presentation at Taco Bell in March of 1997. Numerous shipments of these materials were sent to Alfaro for this meeting, included in these shipments was a storyboard which featured commercial ideas that were discussed at this February meeting. In March of '97, Strategy Licensing traveled to California again to meet with company representatives. However, Taco Bell had recently fired their advertising agencies, so the meeting was canceled. While they were in California, though, Strategy Licensing did make a presentation to Alfaro and his associates, which was favorably received. After this meeting, Taco Bell hired the Chia Day agency for their advertising. Strategy Licensing had many conversations with Alfaro regarding a meeting to present Psycho Chihuahua to Chia Day. However, Alfaro decided to make this presentation to Chia Day himself. He requested presentation materials for this meeting. Alfaro continued to request additional materials from Wrench into June of 1997. On June 6, 1997, Chia Day, the advertising company that Taco Bell was using, conducted focus groups to gauge customer reaction to about 30 commercial ideas that they had presented. Between June 6th and 9th, they decided on 5 commercials, including the pitch that they called Chihuahua. This Chihuahua commercial was shot on July 7th and 8th of 1997. However, on June 26th of 1997, Alfaro received new Psycho Chihuahua materials and sent these materials to Chia Day. So Chia Day had these materials before they started production of their commercial. Wrench did not hear back from Alfaro for several weeks. And then in September of '97, Taco Bell aired their Chihuahua commercial, which was eerily similar to the ideas that Wrench had proposed.
Okay, so going through the elements of an implied contract, what was the service or property or good that was provided by Wrench to Taco Bell?
Wrench,
What's your argument?
yeah, so Wrench provided like numerous marketing materials, advertising. They provided like company uniforms. They provided like in-store promotion stuff. And most importantly, in that February 1997 meeting, Alfaro met with Wrench for like a brainstorming session. And in this meeting, Wrench suggested pretty much the exact idea that happened in the commercial of a Chihuahua passing up an attractive female dog forced to Taco Bell. This idea was presented to Alfaro in February of '97, and then Chia Day used the same idea as their commercial. Okay, so that is the good of service you're talking about here. Let's go to the second element. How are they expected to pay, and should the defendant have known or should have known that the payment was expected? Yeah, so both sides were well aware that Taco Bell would have to pay Wrench for their services. As I mentioned, Taco Bell requested a financial request or whatever to be sent to them from Wrench. Wrench sent this. Though Taco Bell and Wrench didn't agree on the financial statement that was sent to them, they had both agreed to continue working through making the finances work out. So they were both well aware that Wrench was to be compensated for the use of Psycho Chihuahua.
Okay, and the third element, the defendants, Taco Bell had a chance to reject the services or property and did not.
Yeah, so even though Taco Bell rejected that first licensing offer that Wrench made, Alfaro as a representative of Taco Bell, continued to express interest in the Psycho Chihuahua character, even after he knew that Taco Bell had signed Chia Day to produce their commercials. He even pitched the idea to Chia Day that they might use the Psycho Chihuahua character in their commercials.
Okay.
So he was continuing to express interest well into the process.
Okay, so that's your argument for a breach of implied contract. Um, okay, so what about the theft of copyrighted material? Well, let's walk our way through that one really quickly. Okay. So what argument that you have for your second cause of action, which is theft of copyrighted material? It's on the back of your sheets, by the way, if you guys are unaware of that. How would you walk through the elements of a theft of copyrighted material? Plaintiff team?
Um, we have a person chart from the court case where it's describing both, dogs.
Okay, so let's start with so theft of copyrighted material. We can do that. Okay, so let's see here. So this is what you're talking about. This exhibit from the comparison chart. Okay, so how would you like to talk about this?
Um, well, as we can see, they're both described as being unique, having attitude, being clever, and having they're both like strong males. And then for the Taco Bell Chihuahua, they're describing it as a 19-year-old trapped in a dog's body, which means like almost being similar, like being strong.
Okay. Okay. All right. So going back to the elements of going back to the elements of the theft of copyrighted material. So let's just walk your way through them, and some of these are really obvious. So the first element, did you own a valid copyright for it? What's the answer to that? Yes, I mean you guys own.
Wrench owned the copyright to all the materials they sent to Taco Bell. They made sure to copyright everything they sent to Taco Bell.
Okay. And so that's the first argument. The second argument, how did the defendant violate your exclusive rights by using copyrighted material without authorization? Go ahead.
So the defendant, basically, I mean, they ripped the proposal and the idea, especially for the commercial, that Wrench had proposed to Alfaro, who was a representative from Taco Bell. Even though they were well aware that it was Wrench and Rings and Shields' idea for the commercial, Taco Bell went ahead and basically produced the exact same commercial. So they still.
So that's your argument for both the second and the third element, that they acted willfully in doing that as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
They were well aware.
And did they seek commercial gain from using this copyrighted material?
Yes, yeah, because even though so after the first commercial aired in, I believe it was September, um it was a very successful commercial. So Ranch reached out to Taco Bell, to Alfaro from Taco Bell, and inquired about the commercial. And Alfaro said it was just a one-time thing. It wasn't going to air again, and it ended up being a long-running series of commercials. That's what Taco Bell did. They saw commercial gain and they did achieve commercial gain.
Okay. All right. And but you're not arguing that you're not arguing though that they used the actual Psycho Chihuahua, so rather a derivative work, correct? Yeah. So this is important because the Psycho Chihuahua is a cartoon, but the commercial is obviously not a cartoon.
Well,
so what is the argument that this is actually a derivative work of the Psycho Chihuahua?
So in that February 1997 meeting, where Alfaro met with Wrench for the brainstorming, they not only discussed the commercial idea in which the Chihuahua messed up and tracked a dog and favored Taco Bell. They also discussed the use of a live Chihuahua that embodied the personality of Psycho Chihuahua instead of the cartoon character.
Okay, so the idea of a derivative work is it's like Mickey Mouse, right? The original Mickey Mouse is a cartoon, but yet if you go to Disney World, there's a creepy dude in a mouse suit walking around, and that's a derivative work, right? And so that's the image that we think about, right? The one that haunts our dreams, right? So that's okay. That's the idea of a derivative work that's based on a pre-existing work. Okay, so you walk through all the elements, and now I'd like the statement of the case from Taco Bell's perspective, and I've got different things here so we can talk about If you would like to reference any of the other slides, just let me know and I'll get you to that slide. So, all right, go ahead. Your opening statement, please.
We're gonna first argue the fact that there's no implied contract between Wrench and Dog, so.
So that's okay. So here's the rules of the implied contract. Go ahead and make your argument.
Looking at states plaintiffs furnished some service for property. We are arguing that it was to Alvaro and Alvaro never was able to enclose any information given by Simon Waller to talk about. And after February 6, 1997, our other team failed to mention that, well, the live dog manipulated by a computer graphics imaging, and they never used that for their commercial. Not only could Alvaro not present the information to market to any information made it through about Psychochihuahua. A whole new team, and that was fired on March 18th, 1997. And since Alvaro could not get a meeting after February 2 March, the new team came in, so there was no extension.
So the argument to talk about is that the information was not transmitted to the new teams, therefore, what are you arguing? Are you arguing that there was not actually any
Yeah,
service
to talk about marketing department.
Okay, so you're not arguing about this idea of it being expected to be paid, or they had a chance to reject the services, well, and they did not, but you're arguing that they never actually provided it because of this changeover in advertising. Okay, all right. And what about this idea of the theft of copyrighted material?
What? Yeah, perfect.
So Taco Bell pretty much had like a unique appearance. Instead of like Psycho Chihuahua. If you think of like the Chihuahua in the video, it's not like
Would you like to reference the
yeah.
Okay, so why don't we take a look at the Psycho Chihuahua materials? Okay, so there's two slides of Psycho Chihuahua. Why don't you kill the lights for a second? We can talk, and you can talk through the Psycho Chihuahua marketing material. Okay.
Yeah, so first off, if you guys remember the video, it really had nothing to do look like this, like the appearance was different, the color was even different. And why would like Taco Bell like really want this to represent itself? And also whenever whenever he said like I want Taco Bell, if you look at the next pictures, it has like all these like bite me, it's dog eat dog grow, nice people suck. Like it has like a bunch of these like bad words. Or not bad words, but like negative words, and that wasn't like in the commercial. So like basically the Chihuahua wasn't really psycho. It was just a little bit like edgy. That's what those.
Okay, so the argument is so let's talk about this. So let's talk about it because this actually relates to both elements, right? In both the theft of copyrighted material and in the breach of implied contract, they all revolve around the central claim of like you took something from Wrench, okay? And we're looking right now at the existing marketing materials of Psycho Chihuahua. This is what was presented, right? And so, what is your argument for not taking this Psycho Chihuahua?
Our main claim will be that Wrench and Strategy Licensing had the target market only from 18 to 24-year-olds, and Taco Bell is a wide range and anybody can eat it, so having only a 6-year gap is too small.
So you're saying things like the Psycho Chihuahua. So okay. This was pre 9/11, by the way. So like the Psycho Chihuahua, it hit differently in the mid 90s, right? It's like watching Independence Day, right? Like, what's the big lesson of Independence Day for everybody? The big lesson from Independence Day is the people that panicked and ran away and acted irrationally, they're the ones that lived. That's right. So, and also it was nice to see Will Smith in a healthy relationship when he was dating the single mom stripper with this kid that may or may not have been his. So much healthier than his current situation. So much healthier. So anyway, all right, that's just an aside. Okay, so your argument basically is like when it comes to the goods or services provided by Wrench to Taco Bell, that you rejected these services or rejected this Psycho Chihuahua.
As
Sec-
well as it never reached Taco Bell's marketing.
Okay, so the other defense, so that's another defense, a potential defense of against theft of copyrighted material is that you created the material yourself. Okay, and did you want to show your other? There was another exhibit there as well, which is the Nissan commercial cheer day.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have one other. So we have another. So this is defendant exhibit. Let's see if I get this to play.
I'll take Ralphie's hard drives.
From a few years before this whole dispute. When is the commercial show from Taco Bell's perspective?
This is Chihuahua, yes, so there's Chihuahuas.
So it's actually the advertising agency. This is Kia Day's commercial, correct? So what was this used in?
Something they've done in the past, it's something they're comfortable with doing, and it's something that worked, obviously.
So using live action dogs, right? Including the Chihuahua in the commercial, right? So amongst the 5 or 6 dogs they had a Chihuahua in the who was on the console. Okay. Okay. All right. So that's your essential argument. Okay. Let's give our. Was there anything else that you wanted to argue about either the theft of copyrighted material, which your argument is that it was independently created, and then the implied contract. Your primary argument is what's your primary argument about the implied contract?
It's that there never was a contract.
So there was never a signed contract, right?
Never signed a contract, and basically, we just rejected it by not, like, whenever they came across with the financial statements, we didn't accept it.
So you never signed a contract.
Still
Never.
a conversation around that doesn't mean we wanted to do it.
Right. So let's go through where are we at here? Rebuttals. Okay. So rebuttal for the plaintiff team. You've heard everything that the defendant team had to say. What is your rebuttal to their primary arguments?
Claims about the pictures of the Psycho Chihuahua, those were already pre-existing images of the actual character, and the ones presented in the meeting to Alfaro was altered images,
Okay.
create a more positive image.
Okay. So there was a change in the imagery. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
pretty much, on that. So, in one of the meetings that Wrench had with Alfaro, they discussed that the Psycho Chihuahua image might not exactly be very broadly appealing to Taco Bell's demographic. So Wrench was aware that they had to adjust that to fit the Taco Bell marketing. The images and the marketing materials that they sent to Taco Bell would have been altered from that to fit more into the Taco Bell style. And as we had mentioned before, they not only sent over like marketing materials, but even commercial ideas, including like that exact idea that we saw.
Okay, all right. Any other rebuttals to any assertions made by the defendant team?
I would say about the fact that she and Day didn't necessarily know about the Psycho Chihuahua idea. That could be true, but it is also true that Alvaro was promoting the Psycho Chihuahua image within Taco Bell. So those within Taco Bell would have been familiar with the Psycho Chihuahua idea and image. Alvaro also had a high up position in the marketing department at Taco Bell.
See, what was his position actually?
I believe it was a VP marketing, I believe.
Creative service manager.
He was a creative service manager. Okay, so okay, so
But he was in the marketing department at that time.
okay,
And before they produced their commercial, they did receive the Alfaro did get the Psycho Chihuahua promotional materials and storage orders to that.
okay.
So they could have been influenced before they produced the commercial.
All right. So, any other rebuttals against the primary arguments of Taco Bell?
Sure.
Okay. Right. Chance for rebuttals of any other arguments? Go ahead, defendant.
Yeah, they said, the images that we shown were pre-existing Psycho Chihuahua, and they wanted an alter image. They had that meeting on September 1996, and after that, they still said that the Psycho Chihuahua will be, quote, in cartoon form, to not back down attitude, snarling, wild-eyed, edgy, aggressive, and in cartoon, end quote. And that's not what Taco Bell used at all. They also argued that they were able to promote within Taco Bell's marketing, and it does say that they were given samples such as uniform designs, t-shirts, food wrappers, posters, and cup designs, and Taco Bell never once considered those or brought it up to court.
So they never actually used any of the materials. All these other materials, all the promotional materials, everything else like that. None of that was ever used by Taco Bell. Okay. All right. So any other rebuttal arguments against this?
Yeah, so Taco Bell as like a prominent fast food chain required advertising campaigns with like a broad appeal to reach diverse consumer base. So the Psycho Chihuahua characters, like personality and like just like aggressiveness may not have suited their broader marketing objectives, making the choice to use the Chihuahua character more appealing for their core consumers. Taco Bell's decision was market driven, not an endorsement of the Psycho Chihuahua character. Furthermore, it's vital to recognize that the individual Taco Bell was initially in contact with Ed Alvaro lacked decision-making authority for major advertising campaigns. Taco Bell's subsequent hire creative directors underlines the complexity of their decision-making process. Therefore, the preliminary discussion did not lead to commitment to use the Psycho Chihuahua character. Taco Bell's ultimate choice was rooted in market considerations and audience appeal. We urge you to keep these factors in mind when you work out.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, is there any other exhibits or anything here that you wanted to go through?
I don't think so. I think it is important. Even though Taco Bell did not end up using any of the like in-store advertising or cups or anything like that, Branch still did send over the storyboard for the commercial that they came up with at February '97 meeting.
Okay.
That was very similar to like the Taco Bell ended up going.
Okay.
Well, off of that, if you're gonna go off of February 6th proposal, the materials that were given was presented specific ideas for the television commercial featuring a live dog manipulated by computer graphics, and we never used a manipulated dog. It was an actual live dog that was given by a chance.
Well, so that's what that dog was, because the proposed idea was a real dog, you just manipulate them out with CGI, which is what they did in that actual talk about.
But it was not manipulated into becoming Psycho Chihuahua, which was.
It embodied some of the personality traits of like.
But then you could argue the noble fact that it wasn't all contradiction, because you can't copyright a live dog.
All right, well, okay, that's great, but we're, okay, so let's launch you guys into your closing statements. Before, because I think we've got all the issues out on the table. Does everybody understand the issues here so far? We have a potential breach of implied contract, potential theft of copyrighted material. So let's give our closing arguments about why you should win the case, starting with Wrench, the attorney for Wrench. Wait.
Yeah, that goes wrong, presentation, and reasonable to believe that celebrations would have made it to Cheat Day and influenced their Chihuahua advertisement campaign. Which went well over a year developing an advertising campaign to talk about, designed around a live action Chihuahua walking down the street, passing a female dog for some talk or talk about. French also spent considerable time developing in-store materials, staff, shirts, and promotional materials around the Psycho Chihuahua character.
Okay.
Alfaro continuing implied that Taco Bell desired to work with French and strategy licensing to develop an advertising campaign around the Psycho Chihuahua character. Both parties clearly understood that if Taco Bell were to use any of the ideas, concepts, or images created and submitted by plaintiff, Taco Bell would adequately compensate plaintiffs for the use.
Okay. All right. And anything to add for in terms of your closing statements? Like, why is it that Taco Bell should win this case?
So like talk about just expressing interest of like at a trade show is like a common practice and does not signify like a binding commitment, which is what you would need for a contract. As part of a business environment where companies explore various marketing ideas without the guarantee of a contract. And just because we did have a positive reaction does not create a bind. It's just a response in the preliminary phase, and further negotiations are typically needed to formalize the agreement.
Right. So there's no negotiation terms or anything.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So okay, so let's do this. So I think we got all the arguments out on the table. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break you guys into 3 juries. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna number you guys. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1. Okay. So here's what I'd like you to do. I want you guys to settle in the corners. 1, 2, and 3. And here are the questions that you guys need to answer as a jury. Okay. So you need to go through the 4 elements in an implied contract of a theft of copyrighted material. Did the plaintiff own it? Did defendants violate their exclusive rights by using that copyrighted material willfully for commercial gain without expense applied, either novelty or independent creation? And second, I want you guys to go through the implied contract and discuss whether there was an implied contract that goods and services were provided by Wrench to Taco Bell, and that Taco Bell should have known and understand that they would have to compensate Wrench for those services, and that they had a chance to reject the goods or ideas and did not. Goods or services and did not. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. You guys split up for a minute and deliberate and let me know, and we'll.
Yeah. Nobody did count you on? Yeah, it's was 95 was since
It's kind of, there's a lot more to this than that than we don't really. So, like,
Just. I'm going, maybe, what?
What's wrong with?
but yeah, it's going down.
Excuse me.
What is it? What is this about this? There's some of that.
Oh.
It's that. It's actually for me and then the. It's I
Felt like it's nothing like
feeling that's feeling that's so much. And you are in the sense that it is self something like based on stories. It's just
actually always
character almost there's it's like a sexual plea. It's really graphically just really talking about those triggers. I don't know what it is. I just want it. Honestly, for sure, or everyone's what if I go to class? Yeah, 3 months. Actually, yeah, I'm showing it. So, I see guys, I see very the I get it for the salaries. Let's check because it's like that's life. If I do it, it's saying it's the end. Negative. From there's one. Still, I've seen very actually really so. I need some of the business. Couldn't even remember if I've seen it. True, like that. That's sooner rather than later, because can't go towards the chair. So I go and stand up, but I don't see that. Yeah, I didn't see both. You're talking about it's songs. I think this is in films.
So like, it's huge down on the right. Sun is little.
We were fine.
That's like my hair is gonna be within 5 years.
Sir. We don't. It's not.
Just one girl.
I.
What was on?
Yeah. Got it. On. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, just this.
We're not.